Hello friends and welcome. What comes to mind first when you think of spring? If you live in a colder climate, you know the wonderful sound of icicles crashing from gutters to the ground below, or the wonderful feeling of driving your car for the very first time with the window rolled down. And those few extra hours of daylight often bring the first budding blossoms, warmer breezes, and the wonderful chorus of birds singing their beautiful spring songs. The start of a new season usually gets us thinking of a revamp or just trying something new, perhaps in home decor, our clothes, makeup, or maybe all three. Spring is the perfect time to give our makeup routine a refresh by brightening things up and embracing a dose of freshness with spring colors. And that's exactly what I'll be doing today as I use some of my favorite drugstore spring makeup. If you're a first-time visitor, I am so glad you could join us today. My name is Elise, and my passion is helping all of us who are over 50 look and feel like the very best version of ourselves by sharing the makeup tips, techniques, and products that can help us the most now. So if this sounds like content that's right up your alley, I hope you'll join our wonderful family and subscribe before you leave today. Now, let's jump into creating a fun, fresh spring look with some great drugstore products. And I'll put a link to all the products I mention and use in the description box below, which you can access by tapping on the word more. My skin prep is done, and I filled in my brows and applied my eye primer and face primer. So let's first focus on the eyes. Oh my gosh, there are so many wonderful palettes to choose from. Of course, neutral colors are appropriate all year round, and Wet n Wild and Colourpop make some neutral palettes which are excellent. There's Nude Awakening from Wet n Wild, Going Coconuts from Colourpop, and one of my new favorites from e.l.f. I Love You a Latte, which, by the way, only costs $3. But since spring is the perfect time to brighten things up a bit, and perhaps also tiptoe out of our comfort zone just a little bit, let's take a look at some other color options. 3 of the 4 palettes that I'm going to share with you are from Colourpop, and these first 2 are absolute classics in their collection. The It's My Pleasure palette and the Lilac You a Lot eyeshadow palette. Here's the gorgeous It's My Pleasure palette, and look at these gorgeous violets in Lilac You a Lot. If you have green or hazel eyes, these pink, purple, and plum shades can be especially beautiful since they're complementary colors on the color wheel to your actual eye color. And when you use complementary eyeshadow colors on your eyes, they will showcase your eyes even more beautifully because they really make our eye color pop. The third Colourpop eyeshadow palette I want to share with you is a more recent palette called In the Springs. And fortunately, all of these palettes from Colourpop are still available. If you have blue eyes, warm shades of beiges and browns and terracotta shades with a hint of orange can be absolutely stunning on you. The shade Sizzling could be a beautiful transition crease eyeshadow color. And mixing a dab of the brown color Chino with Palms Away would be a great way to deepen up the outer crease and lid. And here's Chino, and Palms Away is right next to it to the left. The deep blue hole-in-one shade can be gorgeous as an eyeliner or outer color accent on brown eyes. And that's this shade in the far bottom right. But today, I'm going to go with the Summer in San Tropez palette from bhCosmetics. How can you not think spring when you think of this beautiful coastal town on the French Riviera in southeastern France? This area was long popular with artists, but in the 1960s, it began attracting the international jet set and is still known for its beaches and nightlife. Since there's no way I can even begin to correctly pronounce the French names of these shades, I'm just going to point to them as I go along. I'm going to start by combining a little beige and pink for my crease color. I'll be combining this color with just a touch of this color. First, I just want to get that beige color on. bhCosmetics was really successful with these travel palettes, and I actually wish they'd bring back a few of them. Some of them still are available, some of the other ones on their website, and they're certainly worth a look. They are excellent quality. And I think the 16-pan palettes are really the best quality in that travel series. Just some light beige on my eyes, and now I'm going to add just a touch of pink. This is a pretty bright color, so I don't want to go too strong with it. but I do want to add a little bit of warmth. I just got the tiniest amount of this on my brush. Rather looks like a sunrise color to me, actually, mixing these two together. I'm actually going to go back to this e.l.f. palette, I Love You a Latte, and I'm going to use the very lightest color on my lids. And I can't believe it, I am already hitting pan on some of the shades in this little palette. That just goes to show how often I've been using it. It's really become a go-to palette for me, just for a quick and easy eye look. And I'm going to just put a little bit of that light color right under the arch of my brows. Now I'm going to use this darker pink shade on the outer lid and outer crease area. It's darker, but it also has some beautiful brightness to it, which is what I love about it. And again, these are really pigmented, so I'm just taking a very small amount on my brush. And now what's really going to make the difference is this dark blue. Just taking a very small amount. And so this pink and blue take on a little bit of a purple tone, which is really pretty and what I'm looking for. And then a little blending. And as you can see, that shears out the color so it's not as dark. And we're going to brighten up the lid area. Let's make sure everything is somewhat even. And now I'm going to take this lighter color for the lids. And I'm going to take it all the way to the inner corner. And then I want to take a brush to make sure it's evenly applied over the lid. I'm going to go ahead and use a dark blue eyeshadow for my eyeliner and then curl my lashes and apply mascara off camera, so I will be right back. I applied the same mix of beige and pink under the bottom lashes that I used earlier on top, along with just a small amount of the dark blue on the far outer bottom lash line area. For my foundation, I'm combining Wet n Wild's Photo Focus Matte Foundation with e.l.f.'s Halo Glow Liquid Filter to give more of a satin rather than a matte finish to my face. All right, this will be hopefully the finish that I'm looking for. And if it's too matte, I can always add a little bit more of the e.l.f. Flawless filter. I'm always amazed by the great coverage of this Wet n Wild foundation. And it's always difficult, as you all know, to find a good match, especially with drugstore foundations, but I think I lucked out this time. Put a little bit more coverage on the center of my face where I have more redness, and on my nose. And I'm going to press that in just a little bit. I'll be using e.l.f.'s Light Peach Hydrating Camo Concealer as my color corrector under my eyes, and then dotting on e.l.f.'s Hydrating Camo Concealer in Fair Beige over it. This is my go-to drugstore combination. And then just press it in with my fingers. And now just a touch of Fair Beige over it. And actually, I usually use a brush, and I should have, because I always get too much when I just use my fingers. And I don't know why I didn't use my brush, because it's right here in front of me, and it's one of my favorite brushes from Sigma, the 4D HD. Because it's shaped so it can really fit right in this area so beautifully. Then I'll blot over it with my Maybelline Loose Banana Powder so I can prevent creasing. Just want a very small amount, and I'm just pressing it in. For contouring, I'll be using Flower Beauty's Low Light Liquid Contour in the shade Medium, which has a bit of warmth to it. As you can see, this is a sponge tip applicator that's modeled after the Charlotte Tilbury products. I'm just going to dot it on and then blend in. Now, I have to say I'm not liking the look of this as well as my Makeup Revolution contour, so I think I'm going to go back over it with this product from Makeup Revolution. This is a little bit creamier. It looks really dark and scary, but it's very creamy and blends in quite easily. And put a little bit under my jawline. And the Makeup Revolution product blends in a lot more easily than the Flower Beauty contour. I think you can still see the remnants of the Flower Beauty, so I'm going to go back over it with my foundation brush. And you can see that's blending it in a lot better. That is a lot more natural looking now. And I'm just going to dot on some Maybelline concealer just to catch those age spots. Okay, I think things are looking better. It just shows that there's always a way to fix things if things don't go just quite as you planned. I'm going to also use Flower Beauty products for my blush and my highlighter. And since I have a cool undertone to my skin, the light, cool pink blush shade called Bubbly works really well for me. But if you have a warm skin undertone, the Flower Beauty Blush Bomb shades Nectar and Melon would be gorgeous on you. And if you have a neutral undertone, Nectar would be a great choice. Or you could mix together a little Bubbly with a little bit of Nectar, since your undertone can handle the lighter versions of both cool and warm shades. If you're not sure what the undertone of your skin is, by the way, be sure to check out the video that I've put together on this topic, which is listed along with a link to the video in the description box below. And this is the Flower Beauty Bubbly Blush, which I absolutely love. Just going to dot a little bit on my cheek and then pat it in with my brush. I just love this color. It's not showing up as well, so I'm just going to deepen it a little bit, and it tends not to show up as well because of these bright lights, but we'll see if I can get it to show up a little bit better here. This is what the color looks like. And what I love about this blush is that it just blends into the skin so easily. And I'm just patting it in so I don't disturb the makeup underneath. Love this blush. In fact, I think this is one of the best products that Flower Beauty makes. The liquid highlighter color I'm using from Flower Beauty is Spotlight, which is a white gold. But if you have a neutral or warm undertone, the rose gold shade, which is called Gleam, would be gorgeous. Or if you definitely have a warm undertone to your skin, the shade Gilded Bronze would be lovely. And by the way, when you use these types of applicators, it's really important to twist it back to an off position before you put the cap on. And I think I may have forgotten to do that with the bronzer, so I better double check on that. And that is really a lovely highlight. And it's so easy to tap this on with the fingers. And then just with a finger that doesn't have the product on it, just go around the edges. And as you can see, there's no glitter, it's just a beautiful glow. And I did turn this to the off position. To deal with my slightly oily T-zone, I'll use Rimmel's Stay Matte Powder in the color Creamy Natural. And I'm just really pressing this in. And I have some little red bump right here on my forehead, so I've got to bring the Maybelline concealer back out and pat that in. Somehow these things just pop up from nowhere, don't they? All right, bump taken care of, let's move on. And we'll move on to lips. I've already applied a little concealer around the edge of my lips, which helps prevent lipstick from feathering. And I'll next apply L'Oreal's Age Perfect Lip Liner and combine a couple different shades of Wet n Wild's Silk Finish lipsticks over it. I'll be using Light Berry Frost and Retro Pink. And this lip liner color is called Splendid Plum. I'd better double check. Yes. First, I'm going to apply the Light Berry Frost. I may be the only one who still loves frosted lipstick, but I definitely do. And this next color is the Retro Pink. These lipsticks glide on so easily and they are so inexpensive. It's unbelievable. In fact, I bought a number of them not too long ago and the shipping cost more than the actual lipsticks, and I think I bought 6 of the lipsticks. And let me just swatch these colors for you so you can get a good look at them. This is the Light Frosted Berry and underneath is a Retro Pink. And for those of you with a neutral or warm undertone, a gorgeous shade in this lipstick would be Sunset Peach. And Honolulu is Calling is a lovely coral if you have a warm undertone. And the finishing touch today will be my Wet n Wild Color Icon Lip Gloss in the shade Libra. And the shades Leo or Aquarius would work well for those of you with neutral or warm undertones. I also really like Sephora's glossed lip glosses, which come in many different shades, and I particularly like the shade Wild, which is a blue-violet duochrome. But the shades that would look beautiful on warmer neutral skin undertones are Yes Honey, which is a beautiful shimmering light nude, and Chic, which is a shimmering coral pink. TLY is also a shimmering peach nude, which is gorgeous. And just so you can take a closer look, this is the Wet n Wild gloss, and underneath is the lip gloss from Sephora called Wild. So this is the finished spring makeup look, which I'm loving. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I hope you'll share in the comment section below some of the makeup products that you love to pull out when spring rolls around.